Ladies, you've got to be realistic. When you're dating, there's more than one person.
Yeah.
So if he's spending $100 on you, then he's got to spend $100 on her and $100 on her. And he only goes on 3 dates that week. That's $300 a week, which is $1,200 a month extra just to go on dates with women that are not even necessarily committed to him yet.
I don't think if you're broke, you should be dating. Dating is expensive.
For men.
For men, it's very expensive. So it's like, if you're going on maybe 1 or 2 dates a week with different women and just really trying to evaluate if this is a partner that you could see yourself being with, that's going to take a lot of time. And it's going to take a lot of money. So it's like, if you're not in the season where you're financially stable enough for where that makes sense, I don't think you should do that.
I cannot be dating in this economy. Not only am I spending $80 for a tank of gas, I'm driving like 45 minutes to an hour to go see people for a date night, and then dropping like 80 to 100 bucks per date. Like, what is going on? I just did that 2 nights in a row. Hell no. I think it's time to either stay single or get cuffed up.
Every man knows the moment. You're sitting across from someone you matched 3 days ago. The conversation, it's fine. She's fine. Everything is fine. And somewhere between the appetizer and the second drink, you realize you already know how this is going to end. Not badly, just nowhere. And that would be fine, except you're $80 deep and the check hasn't even come yet. That's 1 night, 1 date, 1 round of trying. Now, do that 10 times, maybe 20. $40 a month on the app to even be seen. $130 per day when you add in the dinner, drinks, the ride share, the outfit you bought because you wanted to make a good impression. 3 months of that and you spent more trying to find a relationship than your rent went up by in the same window. And at some point, a man stops asking, will this one be different? And starts asking a question that feels heavier. Can I actually afford to keep finding out? Because at some point, dating stopped feeling like the path to connection. It started feeling like a subscription to disappointment. Nobody told him to quit. He just did the math. And the math didn't lie. This isn't about blame. This is about a system that quietly stopped making financial sense for a significant number of men. And the fact that almost nobody is willing to say that out loud. That feeling he had looking at his bank statement. It's not happening in isolation. It's happening everywhere. And the data confirms it. A 2023 Pew Research study found that 63% of men under 30 are single right now, compared to 34% of women in the same age group. Nearly 2/3 of young men are unpartnered. And yet, the industry built around connecting them has never been more profitable. The top dating apps like Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, Match generated over $3 billion in global revenue in 2022, according to Business of Apps. Most of that money came from men, Boost, Super Likes, priority placement, premium subscriptions. They're paying for visibility in a marketplace that already has them outnumbered. Let that sit for a second. The people with the least success in the system are paying the most to stay in it. Men are running a system where they are the majority of the participant, the majority of the initiator, the majority of the first date spenders, and where the return on that investment keeps getting harder to even predict. In any other part of life, a person would look at those numbers and adjust. Move the money somewhere it will actually work. And that is exactly what's starting to happen. Not out of anger, out of arithmetics. The statistic tells you the shape of the problem. They don't tell you what it feels like to live inside it.
Listen, I had enough. I'm not going on no more dates that cost more than $50. That's it. Nah. Listen, I'm not going on no more dates that cost more than $50. If you can't enjoy a $50 date with me, leave me alone. Because listen, dating, this, like, when you getting to know somebody, that's the interview. You don't get paid for the interview. You get paid when you get the job. I'm not going on no dates more than $50. I'm done. I had enough. It's too much money. The average date in New York to a restaurant, you're going to spend about minimum $250. Minimum. Now I spent $250 and you don't even call me back. You ain't even calling me. You don't hit my phone. You don't text me. You don't do nothing. Check this out. $50 dates it is. I'm not going on no more dates that cost more than $50.
It feels like this. On Wednesday night, he gets home from work, opens the app, crafts a message that's specific enough to show he read her profile, casual enough not to seem desperate, sends it, and then he waits and does it again and again. Research from OkCupid has consistently shown that men initiate the vast majority of conversation on dating platforms. They match at lower rates. They pay for premium tiers at higher rates. More work for less return. And that's before a first date even happens. Then the date arrives. A 2017 study published in the journal PLOS ONE found that 76% of men and 57% of women still believe men should pay on a first date. That expectation hasn't gone away. He knows it. She knows it. Nobody negotiated it, but he's the one reaching for the check. He doesn't talk about it afterwards, not with his friends, definitely not online. But on that drive home from a date that went fine but led nowhere, he does the math in his head without even meaning to. Subscription, outfit, dinner, drinks, parking. 5 hours of planning for 90 minutes of conversation with someone he may never hear from again. And he notices something about himself. He's not angry. He's not heartbroken. He's just recalculating. The way you recalculate a route when you realize you've been driving the wrong direction and burning gas the whole time. He doesn't announce it. He doesn't post about it. He just opens the app a little less, plans a little less, invests a little less. And one day he realizes that he stopped entirely and he's not sure exactly when. He didn't lose interest in women. He lost confidence in the process. It's not rejection that changes a man. It's repetition. Women are looking at dating landscape where men seem less present, fewer quality conversations, less initiatives, shorter effort windows. From that vantage point, it genuinely feels like men stop showing up, like something in them just turned off. The woman who seems frustrated isn't telling you she has unreasonable expectations. She's telling you she's been waiting for something that keeps not arriving. The man who pulled back isn't telling you he doesn't care about partnership. He's telling you the process of trying got too expensive for what it returned. Both of them are rational responses to the same irrational situation. And once you see it that way, you can't unsee it. The mistake is treating each other's exhaustion as the cause instead of recognizing it as a shared symptom. Think about what this actually looks like when both sides collide. He goes on 3 dates in a month, spends $400. None of them lead anywhere. So he adjusts. Next time he suggests coffee instead of dinner. Keeps it simple. Protects his budget. She gets the coffee invitation and reads it as low effort. She's had 4 guys this week suggest the same thing. None of them planned anything. None of them seemed invested. She passes. He sees another match go cold and pulls back even further. She sees another man not trying and raises her guard higher. He conserves because investing stopped paying off. She filters because quality stopped showing up. Both of them are making sense. And both of them are making it worse for the other without knowing it. That's the part that makes it so hard to fix. Nobody is wrong. And the problem keeps growing.
So why would you think that you deserve to have every meal paid for? This is survival of the fittest. This is Hunger Games, baby. May the odds be ever in your favor. People aren't interested in partnership for life. They're interested in what you can do for them. Most of these relationships are shallow and empty, and they're based on a transaction of how can you do for me? And that's why a lot of these men keep saying sex ain't enough, because the truth is it's not enough, but that's all they're getting. A lot of these women think that that's enough, and it's not. In a world where everyone is a taker, be a giver. It's giving.
Both sides think the other one stopped caring, but the real issue isn't each other. It's that neither side trusts the system that they're supposed to meet inside of. Dating used to have a recognizable structure. Not a perfect one, but a shared one. You met someone. There was a courtship period with understood expectations. You moved in a direction together. That structure came down and nothing replaced it. Dating apps turned connection into a marketplace. Social media turned authenticity into performance. The economy changed what financial readiness even means. And the cultural expectation stayed frozen in a decade that no longer exists. Men are being held to a cost structure from their grandfather's economy while earning in today's. And they're being told the problem is effort. That's not a character flaw. That's a mismatch between what the culture demands and what the economy allows. Take the dating layer off for a second, because this was never just about dates and dinner. Look at what's sitting underneath all of this. The cost of living in the United States increased by more than 20% between 2020 and 2024, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Rent, food, transportation. The baseline cost of existing went up at a pace that wages did not match. Men who have traditionally been expected to prove financial stability before pursuing serious commitment now need significant more time to reach that floor than their fathers did. The average age of marriage in America is now 30 for men, according to U.S. Census Bureau data. In 1970, it was 23. That's not a generation of refusing commitment. That's a generation taking 7 extra years to afford it. The expectation didn't change. The timeline to meet it stretched. And the cost of dating while you're still on that timeline kept climbing. A man in his late 20s, renting, building a career, managing debt. He's already carrying a financial load that didn't exist at the scale in this generation ago. And dating sits on top of that load, not beside it, on top of it. Every subscription, every first date, every second round, he didn't need but ordered because he wanted to seem generous. It all lands on a balance sheet that was already tight. And he starts to feel something he won't say out loud, that maybe the version of himself that's ready for all of this doesn't exist yet, because the math won't let him get there as fast as the culture said he should. Report from the Survey Center on American Life found that the number of men reporting no close friends increased 5-fold since 1990. Men are more socially isolated now than at almost any measured point in recent history. Dating was supposed to be the bridge, the path towards connection, belonging, partnership. Instead, it became another place that cost more than it gave back.
We don't care about how independent you are. We don't care about how much money you make. We don't care about what Ivy League school you went. It does not matter to us. Why is it that you find Anthony Davis, $300 million is what he made. He just married the waitress. What woman in here, $300 million, gonna marry the man in the drive-thru? You don't raise your hands, because I'm gonna kick you out of here for lying. You're not gonna do it. You 300 million strong, and he's saying, can you please drive up, man? Hold on for a second. You want biscuits with that? He looked kind of good. I like the way his nameplate is. You ain't gonna give him he can't even ask you a question outside of that restaurant. That's the truth. But you can take a man who's a multi-billionaire, and she comes from nothing. She can be walking barefoot with dirty feet. But if there's something about her that he likes, that's who he's going to marry.
He doesn't leave because he lost interest. He leaves because he ran out of margin. People don't walk away from what they want. They walk away from what keeps costing them without giving anything back. So where does this leave us? Not in a place of surrendering, in a place of honesty. When something stops making sense and a person steps away from it, that's awareness. And awareness has never been the problem. The silence around it has been the problem. The men stepping back from dating are not anti-love. They are not anti-women. A lot of them are men who measured what they were spending against what they were receiving and made a rational decision to stop. That's discernment. And discernment has always been a strength, not a defect. What needs to change is not men's willingness to try. What needs to change is the honesty of the conversation about what trying actually costs and who absorbs that cost without anyone acknowledging it exists. If you're a man living inside of this right now, hear this clearly. You don't owe any app your subscription money. You don't owe every date your best performance. You don't owe a system that never updated its expectation your silence about how unsustainable this has become. And you don't have to pretend the math works when it doesn't. What you deserve is to pursue connection on terms that make sense for where you actually are, not where the culture says you should be, not on a timeline built for an economy that no longer exists, on your terms, with your standards, at your pace. Men still want partnership. The research confirms it over and over. The desire for genuine connection didn't disappear. What changed is the price of the road that connection has to travel. And right now, that price doesn't match the paycheck. Knowing that isn't giving up. It's the first honest thing a lot of men have allowed themselves to say. And a man who finally tells himself the truth about what he can afford, financially and emotionally, isn't losing. He's starting over with open eyes. When something costs more than it gives back, walking away isn't the problem. Staying silent about it was. The connection is still out there. So is the clarity to walk towards it without losing yourself on the way. It's been your girl Rene here. I'll see you guys in my next video.